There's no audio. I think they're hearing us right now. This is hilarious.
Yep, they are.
That is so good.
We got to get a song to put over that or something.
I there's
Welcome in.
there's got to be beeping and there's got to be popcorn popping or something if we're gonna do the microwave intro. And
We
yeah,
Uh,
they
gotta have
can.
the beep beep when it is when the numbers aren't changing, just like off the beat.
yeah, that was way to limp in with the intro there. Welcome to the
Just like the
perfect.
Vikings, limping around, not knowing what we're doing, no plan.
Welcome in, everybody. This is episode 631. We are doing a recap of the divisional round. A very entertaining weekend. Less games, but higher stakes, a lot of drama happening. We're going to talk about all four of those games. We'll talk a little bit about Vikings news, and then let's start, man, with the coaching carousel. Today announced Buffalo lost. If you have been living under a rock, a very heartbreaking game for them. Went to overtime in Denver. And yeah, they fired Sean McDermott, which I told Kyle,
I,
I get it. You got to make changes, but of this year, of all the years, didn't feel like the coach's fault. When you turn the football over 5 times, when you give it to the team you're playing against 5 times, you're not going to win the game. And four of
But
those
this
were
was
from
their
Josh
best
Allen.
opportunity. I mean, their top oppositions, the Ravens, the Chiefs, weren't even in the playoffs this year.
This I hear that argument, but this is the worst team they've had, and in my opinion, this is not their best opportunity. You either had to play New England, their defense, which we saw yesterday, surprised the shit out of me, Houston, which nobody wants to play against, and Denver. It's like the top three defenses in the
Well,
league.
Denver ain't too scary anymore now.
Yeah, we can go into that game. Actually, let's see. Was that the first one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Overtime, Buffalo lost to Denver 33-30. What a heartbreaking game for Bills fans. Watching Josh Allen cry at the podium afterwards, it broke my heart. I love Josh Allen. And I'm going to say a controversial thing just because I want to start up the comments here. And I want to get this going for the show. 10 toes down, I stand on this opinion. If you give me healthy Joe Burrow, healthy Lamar Jackson, healthy Patrick Mahomes, and 100% healthy Josh Allen, all of them, poof, they're all 100% healthy. Who would you pick to be the Vikings quarterback? 10 out of 10
Max
times,
Rosmer.
I'm picking Josh Allen.
9.
10 out of 10 times, I'm not even acknowledging either one of you with that shit. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to be a little nitpicky here, but they're all so good you kind of have to nitpick. Patrick Mahomes is great, and he scrambles great. He's also had Andy Reid, a top 3 tight end or top 4 tight end of all time, and at least 1 or 2 of those Super Bowls, he had Tyreek Hill. Who has been Tyreek Hill for the Bills anywhere near in that wide receiver room any years that Josh Allen's been there? The closest number 1 was Diggs, maybe? I still think Tyreek Hill's been better than him in his prime. So, I don't know, man. I watched Josh Allen go from like a weird throwing motion to winning the MVP. He's sturdy, he's big, and he can do a bunch of stuff on his legs. And I've seen him put the team on his back, lesser teams. I would take him 100%, but I have to say it. Buffalo fans, you cannot blame the referees. You turned the football over 5 times. Don't give the football away to the other team 5 times, and you probably win this game.
And I am sick of that narrative that, the refs, blew the game for them because, honestly, I've watched that play probably 100 times, and I don't think that receiver ever had complete control of that ball.
I think I agree with you. But hey, one of my best shout out to my buddy Andrew, diehard Broncos fan. I said, "How you feeling with Jared Stidham this week?" He goes, "I don't know, man. Defense, the coach, everything. The kid's got a Ferrari. If he can just not wreck it, maybe we go to the Super Bowl." I said, "That's a good point." And you have to think, he goes, and about that play, that corner has every right to that football as the receiver does. Hang on to the damn football, and it's not an issue. And I'm just like, pretty good argument. I like
Now, if they
Brandon
both
Cooks.
went to the ground in simultaneous possession, give it to the offense.
Yeah. I think that's the kind of general rule and factor of, and the body language doesn't look good either afterward. He knew he lost it. And it makes me sad because if you think about it, Brandon Cooks was on that Patriots team that lost to Nick Foles and the Eagles. So he's been to a Super Bowl, lost it. Wasn't he in another Super Bowl after that?
Was he a member of that Rams team that won?
No, I think he was a member of the Rams team that lost.
Oh, no.
And now he's a part of another heartbreaking playoff loss. I'm like, damn, this dude. Because I was like, Brandon Cooks, he was in a Super Bowl 10 years ago. What are we doing?
It's weird because there's like two different kinds of Vikings fans. There's the ones that are like, oh, we want to see the Buffalo Bills do well, and then there's the other ones that are like, we are not letting them win one before us.
Yeah, I can't. For my stance on that, I'll never root for a divisional opponent if we're not in the playoffs. Well, even if we are, and they are too, I'm not rooting for them. So, yeah, the Bills, they're in a completely different conference.
I've got a couple friends who are Bills fans, and I tell you what, they are essentially us. We're them. We're the same suffering fan base, like the same heartbreak, the same just what else do you have to do?
So I do 4 Super Bowls in a row that Buffalo lost.
Yeah, something like that. Good so I feel for that fan base too, and I agree with you, Smith. I think Josh Allen is one of the he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I will give them credit for firing the coach. He is a damn good coach. He will be employed by another team really, really soon.
That had to be a super hard decision to make.
And they promoted their general manager. That's the thing that's the most odd of all of this to me is saying, okay, the roster that's not that great, granted they are injury depleted at some positions, the roster, that's the GM's job is to build it, but you fire the coach who he's like 66 or 67%. He's won 99 or 98 games and he's only lost 50. But I get it. If you have a generational quarterback, you can't keep losing these heartbreaking games.
Yeah, the one thing I'll give them credit for is it would be really easy to do sometimes what I feel like the Vikings do and just be complacent with, well, we won a division title every couple years and we're pretty good in the regular season and occasionally, hey, we make the playoffs and we get bounced. And you could stick with being that. And I will give them credit. We say that on the show all the time. Sometimes you got to be bold. And going out and trying to get yourself a new head coach to give your team that extra spark to take it to the next level could completely backfire on you.
And it's funny because that's kind of like exactly what the Vikings did with their quarterback situation, holding on to J.J. McCarthy, and now we're watching Sam Darnold do his thing, and it hurts, but it's a decision the team made.
Yep.
I do want to tie it in with Vikings-related news. We'll talk about the Seahawks game in just a second. Denver moves on. Heartbreaking loss again for Buffalo and Josh Allen. It sucks. Deion Dawkins was crying because Josh Allen said, I feel like I let my team down. And when the reporters asked him, while he's changing and getting in his locker, he starts crying. Horrible weekend for Buffalo fans. I'm sorry. I like Josh Allen. I like the Bills. I agree with you guys, too. I feel like they will go in the opposite direction. Feels like that's the move. That's kind of the general vibe around the league is when a coach gets fired, you kind of go for the opposite. Sean McDermott's supposed to be a defensive dude. Maybe
they go for
an offensive guy because your quarterback's at the arc of his prime.
They're on the phone with Mike McDaniel right now, right?
I heard Brian Daboll because he was a big factor in being the OC there of developing Josh Allen. But then you got to pick really good coordinators. Maybe he would go to Buffalo. That would be cool.
But what if they feel like their offense is good and want to get somebody on the defensive side of the ball?
That's the thing. They just don't have any studs.
Brian Flores?
Outside of James Cook.
Is this a Brian Flores spot?
No, he's going to Pittsburgh.
You think so? Is he getting the second interview? Mm-hmm. Was that confirmed?
Yep. I'm almost positive I read that today.
That would be like him and McCarthy that are getting an interview. Is that Tuesday or Wednesday?
I believe yes, tomorrow.
McCarthy is in the former Dallas Green Bay head coach.
Yes. They're doing a co-interview, which is really weird.
One day ago on Reddit, according to Jerry Dulac, which he's like a renowned Steelers reporter, Brian Flores is getting a second interview. So, yeah, kiss that goodbye, guys. He ain't going to be much longer.
Now I imagine them interviewing both candidates at the same time and them trying to throw the other one underneath the bus.
What's that?
Like what was that Brothers thing where they're trying to hire them both?
Yeah, right.
That's a great analogy. What's that Sports Center show or the ESPN show with the guy Tony Reali where they're like, you got everybody screen and you mute them and you give them points and shit?
Oh,
around the horn.
Around the horn.
We gotta get all the coaches in around the horn and be like, you guys make me laugh. Tell me your best joke. Go. Like we're not even asking them football questions.
I would pay to watch that. That would be good content.
This is where I like us being not sponsored by anything because we can do the Dan Le Batard thing where we're like, hey, we're going to talk about sports, but we're also going to talk about ketchup and stupid shit too, because that's what we are.
But I'm gonna have an article coming out in the morning about a nightmare scenario possibly unfolding for the Vikings with Brian Flores if this recently opened defensive coordinator position for the Green Bay Packers is appealing.
Huh.
Oh my God! Don't even put that in the. Don't put that in the world, Adam. We don't need that.
That's a good one, Adam, and I will definitely read that. We got to promote you on here because, like, I was saying that the other day in that message. I want you to get all the love for the Viking Age because it's the right thing to do, and we don't do it at the front of the show like most of the. We should probably be like 1% more professional and promote shit at the beginning. But yeah, here's my argument to that though. If he wants to be a head coach and he came to Minnesota, then he has ties to Pittsburgh, right? He got fired from Miami, did a cup of coffee there where he was their linebackers coach, and then 3 years with the Vikings. Here's the thing: Pittsburgh's so appealing, like because they want defense. They want the defense to be good. They want to run the ball and be a tough, hard-nosed defense, right? They also don't fire their coaches, so you don't.
But what's
Yeah.
more appealing, a head coaching gig or a ring?
I mean, that's a good point, but all of these guys, every one of them, especially if you've been in the league for 5, 10, 15 years, like they all want to run their own ship and win. They want the ring, but they want to do it as a coach. Like, head coach, I run the ship. And
Well, you might not be able to get both.
yeah, most of them won't. That's the shitty part. But I feel like he's such a
Kevin
Pittsburgh
O'Connell
guy.
Does Kevin O'Connell have one from when he was with the Rams?
Yeah, he was the OC there, so he got one.
Yeah. So we can call our coach Super Bowl winning head coach Kevin O'Connell.
Sure.
It's an accurate statement.
So funny. I was just listening to Rich Eisen folding the laundry before we started the show, and they do Overreaction Monday. And I love Chris Brockman. He tries to rage bait Rich Eisen into just raising his blood pressure every Monday. He goes, Josh Allen should force a trade if the Rams win the Super Bowl and go to Los Angeles. And I was like, holy shit. Could you imagine Josh Allen with Sean McVay in Los Angeles? It'll
I'm
never
kind of
happen.
picturing him in Houston right now.
I did. Yeah, they need to figure something out too. I did wonder momentarily after they fired their head coach, like, what are the logistics that would take for us to get Josh Allen in Minnesota? Then I calmed down.
Because there are a lot of teams that are making changes at head coach that have quarterbacks that make a lot of sense in Minnesota.
Yeah, I calmed down on that take pretty quick. I don't think he's going anywhere other than Buffalo. I don't see him demanding a trade or a new head coach. Why would you want to move on from him?
They wouldn't want to because he's irreplaceable to them, but like he loves it there. He knows he's beloved there. And you know what? I bet he's got enough real estate there and enough say where he's not going to say, oh, I don't want this coach. But I bet you if he walked into Brandon Beane's office or the owner's office, he could probably be like, hey, who are you thinking about hiring? Do you mind if I see? And like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Why wouldn't they listen to him?
But I do have a question for you guys because I was wondering if that hiring of the head coach in Atlanta, does that mean that Kirk Cousins might stick around there a little longer?
Yeah,
That's the first thing I thought of, Adam. Great
I
point.
wondered that as well too. I do think with Kevin Stefanski taking the job in Atlanta, that there's a really good possibility that they keep Kirk and stick around and want to work with him. I think they can win with him. So we were kind of speculating that maybe that's a deal the Vikings could make. I don't know. It kind of cools those talks down, at least for me personally.
You know what's crazy? You just asked me earlier, Adam. You're like, which one do you want? Do you want the ring or do you want to be a head coach? It's the same shit I would ask Kirk Cousins. Would you like to end your career with a ring? Because I said this on the show last week or the week before. If I'm Kirk Cousins, I go to my agent and I say, hey, listen, I don't know that Patrick Mahomes is going to be 100% by week one. Maybe I get 4 games with the Chiefs. I get to work with Andy Reid and whatever scheme he has. Imagine he goes there for like his last 2 years and he wins a ring. He's a backup. I don't think Kirk would ever want to be a backup. I think when that time comes, he'll just retire. But that made so much sense in my head to say, hey, listen.
But being able to open the season as a starter would definitely be something that would be
appealing. Yep.
At least a little bit.
And you got to think, like, I think at some point, because he's so frugal with his money, if that particular thing happened where it's like, hey, I get to end my career being the backup for Patrick Mahomes, working with Andy Reid, blah, 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 and possibly winning a championship, I think he could overlook the money for the last 2 years and finally say, hey, listen, I made $250 million. Like,
Yeah.
my arm's not going to hold up much longer. Like, let's go do this. If I'm Kirk, that's what I would want to do. But yeah, Kevin Stefanski coming to Atlanta. If you guys didn't hear that, he's the new coach of the Falcons. Yeah,
I like that fit.
Absolutely, and that division's wide open. Like,
Oh yeah, that division is weak.
I don't know. I think Kirk stays there now. It makes too much sense.
I kind of wanted him back in Minnesota. I would have liked that fit. I think he would have
Same.
been a good mentor for McCarthy, but now I don't see that happening.
Answering my text because I'm unprofessional. The next game of the weekend, belt to ass Saturday night. Seattle ran the kickoff starting the game, which was crazy. Fuck that kicker for trying to kick him too. He should have been ejected from the game. That's some bullshit. 41-6. Good Lord.
So I got so much crap because I posted my predictions on Threads. Do you guys ever go on Threads?
I do not know.
Apparently, I am sleeping on Threads because it is super, super active. A lot of interaction, a lot of stuff going on. I posted my predictions over there just like, why not? Because I figured it was dead over there, and it is not dead. And there are a lot of 49ers fans that were upset that I took Seattle. And I was getting a lot of crap about it.
I had the same prediction last year. I can't say if I wagered on it or not. I'll just leave it at that and leave your imagination open. But I was at work during the game, and all my fellow coworkers there said, "Smith, what do you think's about to happen?" And I looked over and I said, particularly, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd put about $100 down right now to say Philadelphia beats the absolute dog shit out of the Chiefs. And they're like, "Really? You don't think they could do the three-peat?" And I was like, "I don't think they have a fucking shot. I don't think they have a percentage chance." And
that game wasn't even close.
I was a very happy man at the end of the night. I'll just leave it at that. But I said the same thing for this one. I said, look, the 49ers beat the Eagles. They did America a favor. Thank God the Eagles are out of the playoffs.
And I slept on the 49ers in that game. I picked Pittsburgh, I picked Philly, and I was wrong.
Yeah, I think your heart, you should have picked Philly because they're the better team, but that dog and fight, I think there's some animosity there from a few years ago, too. You remember Brock Purdy got in the game, and then he hurt his elbow, and they started I can't even remember who was the third stringer back, whatever, and that was it. That was the end of their season just on Brock Purdy's elbow. I think they came in with some fire, but they're just depleted, and you have to give Seattle their flowers. They run the ball so damn well. Darnold does everything correctly. He's absolutely an upgrade from Geno Smith being there, and that defense is awesome, dude. They've gotten rid of
3 rushing touchdowns. Pretty crazy.
And you know what? I made the joke because I watched it, and I'm stewing as a Vikings fan watching Sam Darnold go to the NFC Championship game. That beautiful throw on the left side to the back pylon of the end zone.
Oh,
good Lord. Sam Darnold, I am rooting for you to win a ring because I really hope that means this general manager gets fired from this team. I'm pissed about this. You know what? I don't care that I said I wanted him gone after that Rams playoff game because I can just turn and flip the script. You know why? Because I'm a fan, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're allowed to change your mind.
Yeah, that was a bad decision. I think we could all agree.
You look at the Seattle Seahawks and their formula for success. In many ways, that's what the Vikings should be trying to do with J.J. McCarthy. Build a defense, build a run game. Don't ask your quarterback to do a heck of a lot, but make good throws when necessary. Don't turn the ball over. That's kind of the template for what we should be doing with McCarthy moving forward. It's ironic that kind of the quarterback that we passed away from in Sam Darnold is finding success doing the exact same thing that I kind of feel like the Vikings were supposed to be set up to do in 2025.
Yeah, it's crazy how one team you'll have the same ingredients and the other will try to get the same, and they don't have the same product.
Yeah.
I hate it because it's it all comes down to coaching. I love the Kevin O'Connell hire. I don't know now looking back on it if I would have at this current moment said, do I want Jim Harbaugh or Kevin O'Connell? Like, you get great things.
I still want Kevin O'Connell.
Right. I think I lean that way too.
I'm still very much the issues they've had. I don't think are on him. Mm-hmm. I still don't know how you parcel out the blame on their backup quarterback situation. There was something where people were not on the same page, I feel like, on what they wanted to do with that. Or, like we had talked about Smith, maybe the general manager trying to play a little too much money ball at the quarterback position and maybe not offering enough for the other two that we had in the building.
I
And
don't think that's said enough,
Well,
dude.
the
That money
Broncos are
ball.
kind of in the same situation now. I mean, I know they're starting Jarrett Stidham, but they went out and they signed Ben DiNucci. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
I'm not joking, sign Tim Tebow. Have you seen him lately? He is still absolutely jacked.
You know who could play there that just
Cam
showed they
Newton?
still have some juice and they have a much better team than the Colts? Phillip Rivers could give you 2 games right now. Could you imagine if he did that in division for the Broncos? That would be heresy in Charger land.
I wish that like once a team got bumped from the playoffs, they could sign somewhere as a free agent, but
yeah,
sadly, not the way it goes.
I've always thought there should that's why I've always thought there should be no trade deadline. Just get rid of the trade deadline. That
It'd be
way,
super fun to see the Broncos just be like signing Aaron Rodgers right now.
yeah, or the Broncos.
That would change. That would change the arc of the NFL history and rewrite the books so many different times. Because, like, for instance, Joe Burrow would already have a ring. You remember 2 years ago he had like 41 touchdowns, but they were like 7 and 10.
Yeah.
I thought one of the funniest things was like, okay, if during the regular season and playoffs, if you beat a team, you get to pick one of their players to steal. I was like, wow.
That's like the purge and the ultimate anarchy that I am here for. Let's do it.
Yeah. I love dumb shit like that would never work out logistically, but like it would be so much fun if you could if you could put just a little more WWE into professional football, it would be so good.
I'm not going to do the boomer thing where I put my phone up to the screen, but I really want to. NFL memes on Instagram, they're going off today, making fun of people. That's the funniest football page I've ever seen. But there's a Shannon Sharp interview when he was with Fox, I believe, where he looks at the camera and he goes, points here, and it says the Panthers GM watching CJ Stroud. Oh, fuck. We got to talk about that game because that's the next one up. Houston played New England, and I don't ever think I've seen a back-and-forth defensive game where literally it was like you could have turned the audio off for the commentary and just put that bing, boing, bam, 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 just clown music the entire time.
Was it great defenses or was it just a really sloppy game?
I got to give all the credit to the defense. And I know it was snowing and the weather's whatever, but look at what the Houston defense had done all year. If they could have had just half competent quarterback play.
I thought they were going to dominate New England's offensive line.
I didn't know New England's defense was that good. I looked at him like, I'm sorry, New England, I was not familiar with your game.
That is the one game I got wrong this weekend.
Yep.
This is also the one I did not watch this weekend.
I was driving back yesterday. Shout out to my little brother. They're having baby number 2 soon, and the baby shower's this weekend.
Very awesome.
Yeah, very excited. Everybody's healthy, happy.
Wait a minute, are you supposed to have a baby shower for a second baby?
I think you can have them for every one of them.
I thought it was only supposed to be your first baby.
Can you just have one even if you don't have kids?
Go for it.
Like, hey, we're having wings tonight.
Do a gender reveal party for yourself.
Kyle, you can have one, not tell anyone, and say, hey, well, I don't have a baby on the way now, but if I do, thank you guys. Whenever I do in the future.
That reminds me of that meme where the guy bought a roller grill, like what you see at a gas station that cooks hot dogs. It was sitting on his kitchen counter. And the caption was, turns out you can just buy things. Yeah, you can.
That's my favorite part of being an adult. Yeah, the New England-Houston game was so crazy. It was just so many turnovers. CJ Stroud looked completely broken. And I'm telling you now, like, they were talking at halftime of whether they should switch to Davis Mills. I think they should have. Hindsight's 20/20, who knows. But this is a really big question mark going into there, and this is going to be his fifth-year option year.
And before the season, it was a no doubt that they were going to exercise that option and try to work out a long-term deal. Now, I'm not so sure.
Here's the thing that you can say. For his first 3 years in the league, he has won a playoff game each of those years. But those last 2 games, his quarterback play alone has been the worst in the playoffs, I think, ever. And I didn't even look at the stats, but just based on the turnovers alone, his QBR's got to be at the bottom for any quarterback ever playing in a playoff game
What was Joe
consecutively.
Webb's QBR for that playoff game in Green Bay?
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on.
It cannot be
It
good.
can't be good. It
Vikings
cannot
at
be good.
Packers wild card game.
But yeah, I mean, we have seen some really interesting playoff games and ones that were really, really nail biters and fun to watch.
Holy
This
shit.
playoff has been great.
What was it?
Give me a number for the QBR that you think it is.
36.8.
22.6. Joe
Oh,
Webb
Lord.
was 11 out of 30.
Whew.
Still had a touchdown. Jixie Cat, Michael Jenkins, 3 for 90.
There we go.
Michael Jenkins was your leading receiver that game, 3 for 96. Holy shit. Adrian Peterson, 22 carries, 99 yards. Remember the week before where he had like 200? And they were like, we're not doing that. Joe Webb, 7 for 68, though. He was a dual threat quarterback. The problem is he just couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, they tried to make him a pocket passer, and you can't do that.
Good Lord. I will never forget that Tuesday night Philly game, though. That was my favorite. You want to talk about the wonkiest Viking game I've ever watched? That would be the Tuesday night in Philly game. That's funny. You're like, let's look at Joe Webb's QBR. Now I want to look and see what CJ Stroud's was. Let's look at the box score.
Couldn't have been good.
Just for comparison.
21.1. They're literally the same. 4 interceptions. Good God. He lost a fumble as well.
We covered that at the top of the show there, sir.
You know, that is a good point, though, that I wanted to get back to. On the officiating, even though I don't know if I agree with both calls, but okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say they are correct. I still think there needs to be more transparency on how they are getting to these calls, even if that means in a big moment temporarily slowing the game down a little bit. I'm okay with that. And I go back to the first time they brought the XFL back. Remember that really awesome replay system where they had a camera on the official in the booth and you got to see and hear the audio. You got to see what he was looking at. You got to hear the audio. You got to see him going forward, going backward. You can see the guy flipping through the rule book in front of him and figuring out and going through the process and explaining it to everyone. There are times that, look, replay assist, when it's the Cleveland Browns in week 3 and no one gives a shit, and you can get the right call on the field and keep the game going, hey, let's do it. Let's go for it. When you're in a big moment playoff football game like this, maybe you should slow down a little bit and actually explain what's going on and show the official and explain the rule for a little bit. That way everyone is more on the same page because, boy, I did not like, as a neutral observer, how fast they came to that conclusion in that Denver Broncos game. I am like, what? What?
Are you talking about like how quick the review went, or how that?
The whole process of the call and the decision that was made, like it was a little too quick. Like we can slow down. The season's almost over. We can give it a little more time. Like I agree.
Give me the 80-year-old guy walking into the blue fucking tent and spending 5 minutes to look at the footage before you come up with it. Because I say this is my rant I say all the time on stuff about this too. We all have smartphones. We all have 4K TV sets. We're all watching this in super slow motion, high definition. You can't lie to us anymore as to what's going on. We can all see it. We can all review it. We can all look at it immediately as soon as the play is over. The NFL needs to do a better job of stopping in these moments and just explain to everyone what's going on with it.
I thought there were going to be more virtual measurements than there were. So
I still hate that system too. I don't like it.
I wanted to bring this up just because it's crazy to think of the dynamic of the game. If you watch these games, you can tell like the Patriots clearly were the better team. CJ Stroud was rattled. But let's talk about last week because I want to compare CJ Stroud for 2 weeks, and then I want to talk about Drake May because this is fascinating to me. Last week, the Texans beat the Steelers 30-6. He had a QBR of 62.3, 86.7 rating. 21 out of 32, touchdown, a pick, whatever. He had 5 fumbles last week. So that's where I bring in, holy shit, he lost 2 of them. So he had 3 turnovers last week against him. This week, 4 interceptions, a QBR of 21.1. Guys, Drake May had an interception, and he lost the ball 4 times, fumbled 4 times, lost 2 of them. He had a worse QBR yesterday than C.J. Stroud.
Crazy.
How the fuck is that possible? He's 16 of 27, 179 yards, like 3 touchdowns. But that just goes to show you, like, this is the weirdest football game I've ever witnessed. I know the weather probably had a little to do with it, but both of the defenses were smothering, and the quarterbacks couldn't get right. There's 8 sacks between these quarterbacks, 5 on Drake May. And I thought he looked okay yesterday. I didn't realize he was under duress that bad. And they still won by, what is that, 12 points? Crazy. Crazy game. I will say this. If you haven't looked at it or heard this narrative yet, the Patriots have had the most bubblegum path to the playoff or the AFC Championship game ever, and now they get a backup quarterback, albeit they have to go on the road and travel across the country. But I think I heard somewhere, and I wish I had the source so I could give them the credit, this was the easiest schedule in the last 25 years, like overall, and the Patriots had it. And now they just have a backup that hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years. But you have to play the games that are on your schedule, and you have to win them, and they did a bunch of that. So I have to give them that credit.
Of course the Patriots get that schedule. Of course it would be them, right?
And, of course, Bo Nix breaks his ankle on a ticky-tack tackle, which is so weird.
I know.
He didn't show any signs. I'm sure his adrenaline was, through the roof that game.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. And the last one, when we go back here.
Yeah, we were talking about the center group chat. I had never heard of, and I know Kyle West has never heard of, putting cayenne pepper in your socks to keep you warm.
Definitely never heard of that one. That cannot be a real thing. Has anyone out there in the chat heard of this?
Never
or
tried
done
that.
It? Tried it?
Never heard of it.
I like the Parks and Rec answer from Ron Swanson to get over a hangover. He's like, put on some wet socks, cook a flank steak, and then go to bed. That'll clear your hangover super quick. West says, I heard a couple analysts say they think because the 49ers Seattle game was getting close to starting, they wanted to speed it up. No idea if there's any truth to that. What do you mean, close to starting what?
Kickoff time.
Oh, they wanted to speed up the game. See, that's the problem, man. I have that in my line of work, too. I can't say too much, but people want to get, convenience and have everything go just, super fast. The internet has ruined our brains for the rest of eternity. I got to have what I want, and I got to have it right now. It's just be patient for 1 minute.
Well, and that's what I was talking about, and that's what David brought up here, too, is that if you have a system in a big moment like that where you have audio and video on the people involved in it, and they're talking about it and explaining about it. We all get to, even if we don't agree with the call, we understand how they got to that conclusion. You kind of stop some of the extra conspiracy theory shit that comes along with it.
Yep.
Where you're not speculating that, oh my God, they wanted to speed the game up with or get it over with or whatever. I do think that they could do a better job of that. Also, I don't know, wouldn't it just be fun to hear that process unfold in a big moment?
100%.
I kind of want to know that.
And they used to do all that in the XFL, too. They used to tell you everything that was going on.
NFL needs to do a much better job of being more transparent. That would go a long way into stopping people saying, oh,
and it could make their broadcast a little more fan-friendly, too.
A little more entertaining. It would really help stop the Vegas has their hands in the outcome of games and the referees are throwing things. Find ways to be more transparent and make the broadcast more fan-friendly and engaging. It would go a long way to helping the overall product.
We just have to, I have to put this into the ether onto a server that'll outlast eternity, because you just brought up Vegas. The NFL is openly putting commercials out for sports betting, and these referees are not full-time employees. I would chop my foot off to get the right answer, to get truth serum if there was ever a thing. I'm telling you, if you don't think Vegas has a thumbprint at some percentage on these games.
You know what I've always wanted to ask an NFL referee? Yeah. I would love to ask an NFL referee off the books, no camera, no media, just at a bar, have a couple drinks, whatever. Here's my question for you. You get into being a referee because you're super passionate about football, right? Yeah, of course. That's why you get into it. So that means you had a favorite team before you became a referee, right? Of course you did. You grew up being a fan of the Vikings or the 49ers or whoever. So how do you have to tell the NFL, "Hey, I was a really big Vikings fan," and then do you not referee is that a question that's asked? Do you not referee those games? How do you put that bias aside? Or is it
I know
just
they've
all
talked to analysts and commentators about that, but I've never heard it brought up in the case of a referee.
is it all on trust?
It's on Reddit 5 years ago. I'm going to read one of these, and I'm going to read the
Do
AI response because I have that.
do we just trust that you're not going to do that?
So the AI overview says, while NFL referees are human and they might have favorite teams from the past, the league's strict evaluation system and the officials' professional commitments aim to prevent bias. Although some studies and fan theories suggest potential favoritism. The official stance in reality, zero tolerance for bias. There is an NFL Referees Association, the NFLRA, and the league emphasize that the officials are rigorously evaluated and must set aside personal fandom. Well, how are they rigorously evaluated if they're not full-time fucking employees, Roger?
I mean, does anyone remember back when Ed Hockley and Brett Favre were like best friends? Does anyone really think that he wasn't biased towards Green Bay?
I don't know. It'd be hard not to, want a call to go the way of your favorite player or team.
Yeah. Now I think I'm going to quit my job and become an NFL referee so I can sway games in favor of the Vikings. That's my goal for 2026.
Talking about on Reddit, if you see the quarterbacks chit-chatting it up, hey, Bill, how's Martha? Like, of course, we saw everybody doing that. All the smart quarterbacks will try to do that.
Well, you should.
Yeah, Andrew, I gotta argue with you on that. They didn't hand Denver that victory. The Bills handed them that victory. They turned the ball over 5 times, dude. Josh Allen had 4 turnovers.
That's the same thing we're with the Vikings in 2009. Like, yeah, I'm mad at Sean Payton. I'm still mad at Sean Payton. I'm still mad at Bounty Gate. I still think we got screwed over by the referees in that game. But also, if Adrian Peterson would have held onto the football a little bit better,
Percy Harvin wouldn't have fumbled.
And Percy Harvin would have held onto the football a little bit better, we wouldn't have been in the situation that we were in. So, like you said, Smith, sometimes you got to just play better for 4 quarters of football.
Especially, and here's the thing, I hate this because I love Josh Allen, and I put it on my Instagram story. If I had to pick between the 4 in the AFC that I mentioned earlier, Lamar, Patrick, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen, I would pick Josh Allen 10 out of 10 times. That's my preference. But they changed the rules for this team and this guy. You didn't used to get every team gets a chance to get the ball because Kansas City was just killing everybody's hopes and dreams there for like 5 years in a row. They literally changed the rules for this team. They went to overtime, and they couldn't get it done again. And that's going to be a thing on his legacy now. Like, hey, brother, you crumble in the playoffs. Yeah, you can beat the wild card teams, but anytime you got to play stiff competition so far, you can't ring the bell. And that's what's going to hang over his head until he does that. And I hate that.
The next point there by Andrew is kind of what I do agree with him on this. They were letting the defensive backs for both teams be very physical in that game. And when both those DPI calls came in towards the end of that overtime, it felt a little bit like they were starting to tighten things up. And yes, they were textbook DPI. But those kind of calls had not been called throughout the game.
You could also call the hold that was in the end zone, and that's a safety, and the game's over right there. So, like, I hate to be that guy that argues with everyone, but, like, Buffalo would have lost right there, too, had they called that. I mean, they said that on the broadcast. So, I can't get down with it. If you're in overtime and you get to touch the ball, don't tell me the referees changed that game.
All I want is consistency, and I think all anyone wants is consistency.
Yeah.
Yes, 110%. That we all are in agreement with that. What is a catch? Do we still know that? And like, you know what we always hear, especially in the playoffs? Let them play. Every Super Bowl, you can go back to being like, oh, that's the right call.
I understand that mentality, but I also think it's dangerous when if you've been making calls one way all season long and then you get to a big moments and you're gonna just let them play, then just let them play all season. Like, why are we making a lesser set of rules? Because it's like I don't like that.
Right.
I think you got.
I know we got away from talking about that Rams game, but I kind of want to talk about the Chicago Bears for a second because that last throw that Caleb Williams had before the game went to overtime.
I had told you guys in the private chat, we kind of got to stop giving Caleb Williams a hard time. He's looking like he's turned into a pretty darn
I
good
think
quarterback.
he's the real deal.
I think so too.
I personally didn't think that he wasn't the real deal. It's the problem from last year to this year. Coaching is absolutely number one valuable thing that happens. Like Ben Johnson is that dude.
Ben
And what
Johnson
happens-
needs to take some field goals once in a while.
Yeah.
That part, yeah. Didn't we say that? I said that in the chat. It was like, does nobody kick field goals anymore? Like
No, they
everybody
don't.
just goes for it. And like I understand, like it's high stakes and all that, and you're at home, but man, take the points sometime. You're right, Adam. But yeah, it's not that I didn't see the talent there because he had a lot of comparisons coming out of USC to Aaron Rodgers, and you see it now. The way that I screamed yesterday at the LA Rams defense, I said, "How in the fuck do you let that happen?" Because the pass rush did their job. They pushed him back almost 20 yards to the middle of the field. That ball was in the air for like 4.5 seconds.
And I know they said that wide receiver pushed off, but when I watched the replay, I didn't see anything that bad.
I didn't think it was that bad. It's insane that happened, but what a throw. I thought for sure when that happened, I was like, the Bears are going to the NFC Championship game. Like the momentum in that place swung
It's
so
not like
hard.
the Bears haven't been clutch in those comeback games this season. I mean,
Yep.
they have been really tough when they needed to be.
I give all the credit in the world to Sean McVay. I think every year he's got to be in contention for Coach of the Year. They are consistently so good. And what I like, my favorite new little stat or whatever that they showed before the game was every year since he's been head coach, he hasn't played the same team twice in the playoffs. He's literally
Right.
beaten everybody. Like, that's how you know you're good. Like, we could all make the argument, and I see both sides of, like, the Patriots won so much because they were in the AFC East. Well, they can't control what three other offices do or don't do well. They just have to play the games. But when you play every single team and you beat, like, most of them, like, yeah. I really wish we could have saw a rematch of them in Philly, but that game against the Bears yesterday was an all-time classic for me. The snow was amazing. Hard note, like, great defense, good running. I'm excited for him. I'm going to tell you right now.
I remember when the playoffs started and I asked you guys, can we agree that the team that wins the NFC is going to come from the NFC West? And you guys are both like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's going to happen.
It sucks. I think Charbonnet is out. They just announced before
Yep.
we got started on the show, but even with him being out, I still think Seattle kind of runs away with that. They're at home. I think they're way healthier than the Rams, but who
It
knows?
should be a really good game. I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't really care about the AFC Championship game. Maybe they'll prove me wrong and it'll be interesting, but like a backup that hasn't played or thrown a pass in 2 years in a game, that's absolute craziness to me. But
I feel the same way, and I would love to be proven wrong.
yeah,
It could be a wild story if that kid comes out and just plays lights out football and takes them to a Super Bowl. I hate
Brock
it.
Osweiler situation right
they
there.
just got to do the Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts game plan. Don't let him throw a lot, run the ball, and let your defense do your thing. That's it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's the game plan right there. Hey, I'm not going to let you lose this game. Do everything I say exactly how I say it, and we'll win. Sure thing, Coach. Whatever you want. But yeah, that sets it up. The Rams will be in Seattle, and Denver will host the Patriots for Conference Championship weekend. Pretty crazy. We kind of touched on it earlier. Kevin Stefanski is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Jeff Hapley is the new coach of the Miami Dolphins. They solidified that.
I didn't know that one.
Yep. They solidified that earlier.
Well, we knew Brian Flores wasn't going there anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't going back to Miami.
They should have tried to interview him.
That's so funny.
That'd have been hilarious.
And from the last show till now, we have to bring it up because it's pretty breaking news pretty big news for New York fans. John Harbaugh signed with the Giants. We had heard about a day before they were negotiating, whatever, but it was made official a few days ago. I think that's a great hire for them. But there's still a lot of openings. I think the Titans are still open. The Steelers. There was 10. The Bills just fired their coach. Arizona, have they picked somebody yet? I don't know.
What did the Raiders? What'd they do? Anything yet?
I don't believe so. The Raiders are still there, and that's an intriguing one because you get the number one pick. They kind of know where they're going to go with that, but
Titans? Did we say Tennessee?
yeah, Tennessee,
Yeah, Tennessee. Yep.
Las Vegas, Arizona, the Bills, the Steelers. Pretty crazy.
I know it's not
Cleveland,
head coach
Ravens.
news, but the Minnesota Vikings did announce that they are not giving a new contract to their offensive line coach.
Good one, Adam. I'm glad you brought that up. Can tie it back in for Vikings news here. I think
And I
that's
feel
a great
kind of
move.
bad for him because the offensive line this year didn't really have a lot of talent as far as depth, and they suffered a lot of injuries. So, sure, I can sit here and blame the coach for the struggles, but I don't know how much it would have fallen on him.
I got to know how long he's been there because it wasn't great when it mattered the year before.
Yeah, I don't know how much more else you can coach out of what was given him, especially with the injuries that you were not counting on. I mean, you were counting on drafting a center who was supposed to come in and just stabilize, or no, excuse me, signing in free agency a center who was going to come in and kind of stabilize your whole offensive line.
Oh yeah, Pro Bowl
and,
center.
And that just did not happen for the team. And you didn't really have a backup plan, but that's not the coaching's fault, I don't think.
Shout out to Wes doing research for us and being a producer on the show when we didn't ask. Seattle and the Rams, in both games they played against each other, are separated by 1 point and 1 yard. What a stat. Seattle has 58 points. The Rams have 57. Total yards, Seattle 830, the Rams 829. Book this, PFF, give this man a job. That's crazy. That's crazy work. And here I am saying that Seattle might dog walk them. I got to walk that back. This should be.
And we got Fire Breather here filling us in on the other question you asked. Apparently, the offensive line coach has been here since 2022 or 2021.
I wanted to highlight that he wished that Kwesi would get fired because I'm ready to. Kyle said it earlier. I have to give him this expression. It's his credit. But yeah, I'm totally with you, dude. Kwesi's doing too much Moneyball shit with the team, and it's just not. It's not to my liking. I do feel he's gotten better over the years at drafting, but it's still very subpar compared to others. Look at Seattle. In 2 years, they got like 7 starters from the draft. Starters.
Yeah.
Look back 4 years ago or it'll be 4 years in a couple months when we got our first draft from them. Lewis Seen, not even in the NFL anymore. 4 years. We should
Super Bowl champion.
5th-year option extension on that kid. He's not even in the league anymore. And Kyle Hamilton was there. I'll always die on that hill. You traded with Detroit. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go down the list. There's too many things I hate about Kwesi. Fire Breather, I agree with you.
I feel like he did nail the Donovan Jackson pick, though.
Kyle and I talked about that this weekend. So, hey, I don't know how confident I am with anything else other than Donovan Jackson looks fine and Will Fries can come back. I hope that Darisaw is healthy because I'm scratching this year as an anomaly. His knee might not have been fully there. Brian O'Neill, I love you. You can stay, but we should also...
Now, I didn't get a chance to read this, but I heard that Christian Darisaw posted something on Instagram after the offensive line coach was let go, and he is not happy, I guess.
Ooh.
I don't know. I still feel like there's some kind of weird story that hasn't been fully reported that we're gonna.
Yeah, there's something there. I don't know what it is.
There's some smoke to that fire that's going on, or fire to that smoke. I actually don't know how that saying goes. What is it, guys?
It doesn't matter here. Everything's
some variation of where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You guys know my feelings on this. How long have I been doing the pod with you guys? Since the Mike Zimmer, right before the Mike Zimmer year. Since I've watched this team fully from that Favre year until now, outside of 2009, the offensive line hasn't been awesome since then. There's been 1 or 2 years where they've been in the top 16 of the league. But overall, the arching thing is like it's just kind of patchwork. And you'll have like one Pro Bowler here or one here.
We're always really close, and then there's an injury or something unexpected happens, and it just kind of falls off a cliff.
And then the center that you load for 4 or 5 years goes to a different team, and they're in the conference championship game. Oh, that pisses me off. Oh.
But yeah, Blake Brandel ended up playing way more than he should have.
Bradbury, have a good time in Denver. Especially this year when Ryan Kelly came in and he's got mashed potatoes for brains now because he has 18 concussions.
Yeah, I don't think they can go into 2026 with him at center. I don't think you can trust that.
I am really surprised he hasn't announced that he's retiring yet. Like, is he holding out hope that he's going to continue to play?
Probably just chilling.
He's in his 30s, right?
Yeah. Probably just chilling at the moment. He probably like, I don't even want to think about football at the time. And Ryan, if you did listen to me say mashed potatoes for brains, I like you. You were awesome for Indianapolis.
I had mashed potatoes for lunch.
I am I am concerned for your health, and I am rooting for you. That's not me just being like, F that dude, just so you know.
That, and we are concerned about player health. We want you guys to stay healthy and
I explained that
have
to my
great
dad
careers,
this
make your
weekend.
money, do your thing.
My boomer-ass dad said this week, he goes, what the hell are these helmets that are all puffy and big? He's like, is that how you know they're a rookie? And I was like, Jesus Christ, Dad.
I kind of wish that was a thing now.
It's a
Rookies have
hazing
to wear
thing.
something stupid as a hazing ritual.
I
If you
said-
want to take a look at something fun, take a look at all the Romeo Dobbs memes about the Guardian helmet.
Well, there's a guy on the Texans. I think it's number 5. He wears it. Obviously, Ryan Kelly wore it for us this year. But I said no. I was explaining to my dad about the safety benefits. I was like, it's literally for player safety and head trauma, concussion, CTE, all that. And he's like, oh. I started making fun of it. I was like, you thought it was for the rookies?
I love that idea that it's for the rookies. The rookies have to wear something stupid.
You gotta wear this and look stupid out there. Look how goofy you look.
I love that.
That's so funny.
You got to earn the right to get a concussion, like a real NFL player.
So
You know what Hey, real quick. You know what I stupidly wondered to myself during that really cold Chicago Bears and Rams game? If I was a player, I think I would have opted into a Guardian cap because it was an extra layer of something to put on to keep your head warm. Is that dumb?
No.
It's no stupider than putting pepper in your socks, right?
We all were like, in the chat, we're like, we've never heard of that, right? Like, that's not something that, like, I'm missing out on.
Dude,
And I live where it's super cold, snowy all the time. Nobody I know has ever talked about that.
Yeah, I know. This coming weekend, it's going to be like 40 below outside where I'm at, and not a single person will be putting pepper in their socks. That's not real. That does not exist.
Hey, but it worked for the Rams, so what can you do?
I'm going to put this up so everyone can start commenting, and we'll put it up because Adam shared a meme in our chat this weekend, and it was really fun because we all talked
That
shit.
wasn't me, that was Kyle.
Oh, it was Kyle. Me. Yeah, what's your top 3 condiments? And they gave you like a tic-tac-toe square of kind of things, or maybe even more than that, the options. But
it wasn't your top 3. It was pick 3 that you can only use for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Sorry. Ish. I'm terrible at my job today.
Soy sauce almost creeped in there for me. It's real close.
I wouldn't have hated it.
I think barbecue sauce was the one that was most common on all of ours.
Yeah, you can use barbecue sauce on so much stuff. So you got to go barbecue sauce. You got to go ranch dressing.
No.
Ranch is good on anything, and you got to go ketchup.
No.
I'm the opposite. I only like ranch for my wings, and that's it. I don't eat it on anything else. No, I take that back. I'll put it on a Caesar salad, but that's now when it does its job well. I like this weekend. We went to a brewery, and my brother and I were sitting there pigging out. We shared a large pizza, and I got wings as well. I waited all day to eat. I had like crackers for breakfast as a snack, and like half of a bagel at lunch. I was like, I'm going to pig the fuck out tonight. And those buffalo wings that I had watching the Buffalo game, I got love for y'all. The ranch, it did it for me. But I'm kind of with Adam on that. I don't dunk the whole thing in there. I get a little smidge on the side because I want it to mix in with everything. I don't want to drown out anything as far as sauces. That's why, like, when you eat a hot dog, like for me, it's like ketchup, mustard, onions, maybe some chili. But I see all these videos, these food videos, they're just glopping this shit on there. I'm like, how about like just a little dainty line of ketchup?
During that game, they showed some of the Chicago dogs where they were putting like half a tomato on there and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know if all that's necessary.
No.
No, but they are pretty good.
Steak sauce and ketchup. Yeah, see, I don't mind it. The generic stuff is fine. I want to find the people who have something crazy.
Wait a minute, did you say you don't mind steak sauce?
I don't care. I don't put it on mine, but like I'm not gonna chastise you if you.
No, if somebody wants it, I'm cool with it, but I don't think a good steak needs a steak sauce.
I had a steak for lunch today. I don't use it, but what I'm interested in is what else are you going to use in the steak sauce? That's what. What else in your brain are you using it for? So maybe I can steal that and try it sometime.
It is actually A1 steak sauce on a hamburger. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
Oh, it's a Watch Your Sister sauce.
What? Wash your sister.
Can't say that word. I know the word you're trying to say. I can't say it.
Worcestershire.
I'm not even gonna try.
Which is crazy coming from where I grew up, because it's like, wash your sister sauce. Like, that's how they talk.
And you can put that on your sharp cootie board.
Shark coochie. So I want to tie this in and talk about the Vikings while we wrap up the show. This is pure speculation, hasn't been announced. I fully believe Brian Flores is leaving. I wonder after he is gone, and that's just my guess, based on him going for another interview this week with the Steelers and being asked around for, like, I think the Ravens job and others. He's probably going to take a head coaching position. Who should the Vikings target for the DC position? And then also, is there
Matt Eberflus? I am joking. I do not want him anywhere near the Minnesota Vikings.
Not as a head coach, but like
as long as he's not a head coach, I mean, I'd consider it.
For that I would, not for a head coach, but if you stick to your one thing, maybe he's really good at it. I don't know. And is Brian Flores going to poach any of the assistants that he likes or any of the other coaches?
Oh, as much as possible.
Yeah. Here's a good one too. We talked about it last week. My bad. Is Addison coming back? That's going to be a big topic this offseason.
Probably. Do I want it to happen? No. Is it probably going to happen? Yeah.
Well, decisions have to come on Addison and Naylor and a couple other players, so it's going to be tough, especially with the salary cap situation.
That's the interesting point, Adam, because he could be good trade bait. You're not going to get as much for him now because he's yet again in trouble. But at the same time, I'm not going to defend his actions, but I will say this is not, and I hate to compare it to this person because it seems like I'm being an asshole, and I'm not. It's not a Rashee Rice situation. It's not a Henry Ruggs situation. It's a simple trespass charge.
I tell you what.
It's the third year in a row. A week after the season ended.
Yeah, to me it feels like 3 strikes and you should be out. But I tell you what, man, if I'm Buffalo, you kind of need a playmaker. You kind of need a skill set guy. Boy, he would fit good out there. And if you're the Vikings, if you can flip him for an asset and kind of.
Do you remember that weird little time there where Rick Spielman was trading some troubled players and was getting like first rounders for him all the time?
Yeah.
That's true. Don't make me like Rick Spielman.
Hey.
That man could work a trade.
Remember when he absolutely fleeced the Seattle Seahawks in the Sidney Rice trade?
You got to give me the details on that. I forgot about it.
Or did he go in free agency? I don't remember now.
I know they got like a first rounder for Harvin.
Yeah.
After I said it, I can't remember. Did Sidney Rice leave in free agency? Or was he traded?
Let's see. Sidney Rice.
I remember Percy Harvin was traded.
Sidney Rice joined the Seattle Seahawks as a free agent.
Signing
a 5-year, $41 million a year. Imagine that. 5-year, $41 million, and Jefferson's making $35 per season. Jesus. These old heads got to be looking at this and like, where the hell is my money?
So how do you guys feel with these playoff games like jumping all over, whether it's ESPN or Amazon Prime or Peacock or wherever they might be?
I hate it.
Do you feel it's getting way too complicated for playoffs?
I will stand on it. Adam, I don't know which one I want more. NFL referees to be permanent and held accountable with a reprimand system, or if I just want a la carte games where I can buy them, or you do a season subscription package for your team, and then for the playoffs, what are we doing here? But if you're smart, you don't do it all year, and when the playoffs are right there, you do a free trial, and then you cancel that thing because you'll get it for a month.
Now, I am fine with regular season games going on whatever they want to put them on. Mm-hmm. Don't do it in the playoffs.
Yeah. I get that. I'm lucky, and this is just me, like, I love the UFC. It's my absolute baby outside of football season because they have stuff almost every weekend.
Now, don't they have a deal with Paramount Plus now?
Well, now, see, that's the tie-in. I have Paramount Plus because I'm a big UFC fan, so I'll get to watch some of these games. Like this weekend, it was on Paramount. But let's name them, Adam. During the season, Netflix.
Yep.
CBS.
Yep.
Fox.
Yep.
Amazon Prime.
Yep.
ESPN. And Peacock. What the fuck?
True.
They're all separate. What the hell, man?
And don't forget, you need whatever provider is going to have your, Fox and CVS and whatever else, has that.
They have fleeced me for the last time, and I got it at a discounted rate for veteran stuff. I will never again buy Sunday Ticket. NFL Plus is an absolute scam, and I'm not doing it. I refuse. I will illegally pirate that shit until the day I die because I'm not going to do your game of paying 17 companies $400 to watch this stuff. Or if you want to be that guy, just go to a restaurant. You can watch all of it.
Here is the problem. I am the problem because I did not have one of the streaming services that one of the games was on. The Rams game. What was that on? Peacock, I think. I signed up for it to watch the game because I'm like, I don't feel like going through the illegal streaming stuff and not getting a feed that works right. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just pay for it. They twist your arm and they get you.
But Peacock's got a lot of great stuff. They got The Office, they got Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they got lots of great shows.
Oh, I will be canceling it here really shortly.
And if you haven't seen Twisted Metal, watch that before you cancel.
I should. I've heard good things about that. I grew up being a huge, huge fan of the game
Mojo
series.
is great in that.
Yeah.
Here we go. I want to talk about that, Andrew. If it worked great for you, but I didn't get to, when I had it a year or two ago, I didn't get to watch any Vikings games. It was all like ticky-tack picking. Same thing for Sunday Ticket this year. If it's out of market or this is in your area, you don't get to watch it. I paid like $180 and they restricted some games because it was local. And I'm like, I want to light your building on fire. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
now
I
I
paid
live
money
too
for
far
this.
away to pick up any of the local games with an antenna, so I am extra boned out here in the middle of the woods.
Ugh. Tough. We do have Vikings news. Shout out to Vikes Verified on Instagram. Adam Schefter tweeted, the Giants have requested to interview Vikings passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach Durante Jones for their DC coordinator position. Jones has interviewed in person with the Cowboys and the Jets for their defensive coordinator positions, and now
I think they announced that a couple days ago, right?
Yep. And then they did a mock draft. That's hilarious. They're already doing 5. Shout out Vikes Verified. You are doing the Lord's work out here, doing a 5-round mock draft already. The way I don't give a fuck about that at the moment.
Kyle West loves mock draft season.
Oh, yeah. The earlier, the better.
That's funny.
Especially with the
I
transfer
wonder if
portal.
any mock draft in history has ever been correct.
Yeah, how many of them can you get right? Because it's never perfect. What's the percentage on that? Probably like maybe 5 picks land out of 32. And yeah, it's a crapshoot. The trades change everything too. Like, if you can get 10 picks right and you get some of the trades correct, you need to go buy a lottery ticket because that's
You have to not even focus on the trades. You have to like, here are who I think the top 10 players in the draft are, and I'm not going to worry about the team. I'm going to say this is the guy that should go first, second, third, and so on, and just let the trade part figure itself out from there.
So we talked about this last week, Fire Breather. I don't care. Vikings were dog shit this year, and I totally understand why he did it. I will never be mad at Adam Thielen for like doing one last throw, like, hey, let's go chase a ring. You got to think, when he asked for his release, he's too old now. I'm sure one of these other, like, I thought the Bills would be a great fit for him because they needed a wide receiver. I thought maybe he'd help them. He wants to go play with Aaron Rodgers. I get it. I'm not mad about it. Begs to leave, he can get owned.
They are golfing buddies.
Yeah, they had a history before. But, like, yeah, he begs to leave, he gets owned. But the counter argument to that is they were in the playoffs and the Vikings weren't. So, what's that? It's a Busta Rhymes song, and it's got Chris Brown at the beginning. He's like, how you going to hate on the club and you can't even get in? Like, that's us, dude. I don't blame him for that. And think about this. He did those, like, off-season workouts with J.J. McCarthy, and he must have looked okay or been friendly with him. We had historically dog shit, terrible quarterback play this year. Like, historically bad. I wouldn't want to play for this team either. Justin Jefferson struggled to get 1,000 yards in 17 games, and he was healthy all year.
I didn't hardly want to watch this team at points in this season. Can you imagine being on the field
I
for
was
it?
reluctant to watch them, and I am usually good to watch whatever.
Yeah, that's my point right there. I'm not saying he got to catch more passes than if he stayed. Yeah, dramatically bad quarterback play. That's why I'm not angry with him. He deserves a spot in the Ring of Honor, in my opinion. He's a unique and incredible story, and especially like he did it the right way. Imagine if he would have gotten the opportunity, gotten drafted sixth, seventh round, and he would have actually gotten playing time early. He would have even more numbers than he has now. But he's got a respectable career. To have like a decade in the NFL plus after not being drafted, have to pay your way in. We can do a tribute show to him. I like it, but like I get it. Some fans were mad about that, but like I'm gonna point to Jefferson every year for this season to be like, if that dude's struggling to get 1,000 yards, what were the rest of the wide receivers gonna do? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's an afterthought as far as the progressions go on each play, but
And I know you guys are probably both all in on getting some sort of established, more consistent quarterback for the Vikings in 2026. I know Smith is definitely against handing the starting job to McCarthy again.
I'm 120% against that. Don't you dare bring in competition. I don't care who it is either. I literally don't care. Kyle, you said it the other day, and Adam, I think you echoed it. Guys, buckle up. We're in the year 2026, the calendar year. We're still in the 2025 season. The 2026 football year for Vikings fans is going to be fucking rough. It ain't going to be good.
If Brian Flores leaves and the Vikings decide, okay, we're going to keep rolling with McCarthy, I am expecting 4 wins, 5 maybe.
It's bad. Unless they can work out some kind of deal on a quarterback we kind of overlooked and they find a way to fix the line. First and foremost, I don't care about the defense. I don't care about it. That's a whole nother issue. You have to protect whatever quarterback you bring in, and you have to bring in competition for McCarthy. That has to be, in my opinion, priority number 1 this offseason. It has to be.
And you need help on the offensive line. You need help at safety. You need help at cornerback. You wouldn't hurt to grab a running back or a tight end if they have to let Hawkinson go. I mean, this team needs a lot of help this offseason, and they don't have a lot of resources to do it.
Here's where we have to do the blame game for Fire Breather's question, and it's a good one. What I want to know is, why did Kevin O'Connell think JJ was ready? Why did he wait till the season was ongoing? Let's do the totality of everything. You drafted this kid 10th overall. You jumped up a pick to get him because you kind of had to. Well, you didn't have to. You could have just rolled with Darnold, and then he could have signed. You didn't have to draft JJ McCarthy last year. Like that's a whole other conversation in itself, but they drafted him, right? He gets hurt, cool. I'm not going to hold that injury against him sometimes because I know injuries are going to happen, but when I want to use it for my narrative. But here's the other part of that. Quessy is the general manager, and it's yes, they work together. They're a team. But in the end, he looks at Kevin O'Connell and he can say, work with the team that I build for you. We've seen it happen a million times where GMs and head coaches eventually butt heads.
Right.
That's exactly what Quessy's power and authority is in the organization. Is I'm going to build the team for you. You coach them. Kyle and I are of the very big, and I think Adam too. Like I think Adam, maybe I don't want to speak for you. Maybe you give him a little more leniency, but we don't like his approach to things. I don't think he's very good at drafting. And Kyle nailed it. He said, "Hey, Moneyball." He's trying to do it the cheap way of doing everything. No, sometimes you have to spend. It's like a tattoo. You get what you pay for, man. Like you got to get good players through the draft because of the way the rookie contracts work. So the answer is they didn't bring in a veteran good enough this offseason, and they did a total gamble where they're like, hey, I'm putting all my money in, all my chips in, and we're going to throw the dice. And unfortunately, when the dice came out, they didn't roll a 7, and they lost all their money because he looked like shit this year. And granted, he got a little better over time, but the problem with this kid is he can't stay healthy enough. And they're fucked. They have to roll with him again because they don't have another option unless they make a blockbuster trade. And I don't know. I'm kind of like 70-30 on they're probably not going to do that. But I think, in my opinion,
I don't think they're making a.
I think they got to feel the pressure a little bit because this went so badly to be like, well, can we make a call on somebody?
Oh, you make a call. We've talked about this before too.
But the problem right now is that you'd have to spend to bring competition in, whether it's someone to fight for that number 1 job
Marcus
or a top-tier backup. You are going to be paying a lot of money to a quarterback, and I don't think Minnesota has it, and I don't know how they're going to clear it because you got to let players go. And if you do let players go, you got to replace them. I mean, there's a couple guys on the interior of the defensive line that I think are prime candidates to be let go, but
that's the part, Adam, and we'll talk about that more in the offseason, is You can let one or two of those guys bounce, and then I absolutely think T.J. Hawkinson is at the top of the list of he can go. But
Can you just restructure T.J. Hawkinson?
I mean, I guess you could, but
Is that a
It'd be
scenario?
difficult.
Yeah.
that's a
I-
problem.
Because think about T.J. Hawkinson too can say, "Hey, my production is down because the offense sucks."
Right.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. But he could be the easiest path looking at it on paper is T.J. Hawkinson could go, one of the D linemen in free agency you pay for it, but that only gets you to even because they're over the cap. You have
Harrison
to.
Smith is off the books.
You have to, yes, but I think he's still going to get paid. I have to look at it, but if my memory serves me right, he would still get paid. I have to look. I don't know. I could be wrong. But that only gets you to zero. You have to have extra money available to go spend. So you're going to have to get rid of more people, and your team's going to take a hit. Because if you go get a quarterback, albeit a Daniel Jones level like last year of like, hey, he's not going to cost you $40 million a year, but let's say you go get Mariota or somebody, you still have to pay him $10 million. We're negative 30 in the hole right now. So it's not going to be a good year to answer your question.
You gotta have money to pay for your incoming draft class.
That too. Didn't even think about that. So let's answer this and we can end the show. If the Vikings don't go get a quarterback, they will. They have to, Wes. The thing is, you're not going to like who they get. Let's go through the list. Marcus Mariota, Kirk Cousins if we're lucky. If we're somehow lucky,
It's
he'll
not,
come back.
and it's not Kirk.
Tua Tagovailoa would put you in cap misery for years. I don't think that's a possibility, but he's a name. Kyler Murray, again, cap hell. Don't want that. I want Mac Jones because he's an adult and he can do it, but you have to trade for Mac Jones, and why would they? Brock Purdy can't stay healthy most of the time. I don't think they're going to trade him. Who else did we have on that list? Jacoby Brissett? Yuck. It's
You
a
going
whole
out
yuck fest. Yeah, it's bad. The Lions passed on Mike McDaniel for their OC. What are they doing? Yeah, but you got to think about, like, Buffalo fired their head coach. Maybe they come in and bring him in for Josh Allen. I think that's the perfect place he should go. That's where I would go. You can stick it to the Dolphins twice a year in that division, right? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot to talk about.
That is such a good fit, the Mike McDaniel to the Buffalo Bills thing. Like, I hope
James Cook, you probably draft a wide receiver.
As a fan of good football, I think that would lead to more good football. So I'm here for that.
Now, we were initially planning on this episode being our award show, but all of us were lazy and didn't do anything. So we're going to put that off maybe a week or two, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you got to figure out who on this shit team is even worthy of an award this year. That's the hard part.
It's rough. It's tough out here. Some guy said it today. I went to the gym, and he was like, let me guess you're a Vikings. Because this is what I wore to the gym. He goes, let me guess you're a Vikings fan. I said, no, I'm a masochist that cosplays as a Vikings fan. And he just laughed. He goes, if it makes you feel any better, I'm a Giants fan. I was like, you have 2 Super Bowls this century. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You beat the Brady undefeated team, and then you did it again 4 years later. Like, miss me with all that. And you just got John Harbaugh. I was like, I looked at him, I was like, we have J.J. McCarthy. Cool. Like, I hate everything now. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought it up. Yeah, Will Reichert, he's your MVP. I think that's everybody's. But we'll talk about that. We got conference championship weekend. There's a week in between for the Super Bowl. I'm going to the Super Bowl, so we'll see if I can even do a show. I don't know what my schedule's going to be, working it and doing all that. So,
well, one nice thing is that we probably shouldn't have any Vikings news from the Pro Bowl.
Good God, Adam. That's the funniest thing I've heard forever. That's so funny. It's sad. Yeah. You had no Pro Bowlers, and you had 1 All-Pro, which was the kicker. So, Brian Day wasn't going to be the Buffalo coach. He might. Yeah, Giants have won 4.
Yeah, that's all I have for this week. You guys got anything else you want to discuss?
No. I think that'll do it. I think we should put this up here and say, go to the Viking Age and support Adam Carlson. Click on his articles.
Oh, yeah, good stuff over there. I'm actually working on that article I talked about earlier, and I am going to see what else I can get together. And it's going to be a good time to read about the Minnesota Vikings, because right now they ain't playing.
I don't know if you guys can hear this ringing in my ear. Really.
You can check me out on social media at MNVikingZombie. Any social media you got, I am probably on it.
Heck yeah. All right. I don't have anything to promote there. I'll leave Kyle West alone this week for that.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We'll be back soon.
Absolutely. Next week, we're going to be back to talk about the conference championship rounds of the NFL playoffs and whatever Minnesota Vikings news there is. Thank you to everyone who joined us. We love having you guys here, and hopefully you'll come back next week. In the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.